Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the On Pattison podcast. I am Mike Missanelli, and of course, my partner, Anthony SanFilippo, as you see right there. Well, Ant, all the talking is done. It is playoff football time, and we're going to go back and yet go forward on this because the 49ers are a formidable foe for the Eagles. We'll get into all the facts and figures and stats and numbers and all that kind of stuff. But welcome. How are you feeling today?
Oh, Mike, I'm feeling pretty good personally. I mean, I think that the Eagles got the exact matchup that both they wanted and they needed, and this is exactly why they rested their starters.
Okay, well, let's put this to bed because this has been a hot button topic for the past several days. I talked about it on the Eagles postgame show. In a previous podcast on this network, said there is no way I would not play the starters, that playing for the number 2 seed was where you had to go because then you can control the scenario a little more. And in fact, if the number 1 seed gets upset, which I think is possible, then you climb into that spot where you can host every game in the playoffs at your building where they are 5-0 under Nick Sirianni. So let's talk about this. You would have rested the starters like they did.
I would have, yes. I think that there's giving them a bye week is the most important thing of all. And the reason I say that is when you look at it, Mike, since the NFL has expanded to 7 teams in the playoffs in each conference, every time that a number 2 and a number 3 have played against each other, it's 3-3. And every game except for one has been incredibly close, been a 1-score game. So it doesn't matter whether that game's in Philadelphia or in Chicago, if assuming that's what they play, who they would play, then it's kind of a toss-up game no matter what. But if the Bears get upset, now you have to face a tougher team, but guess what? You get to play them at home. And the Bears are no longer in the mix here. So
You're really afraid of the Bears?
I'm not. I'm not afraid of the Bears.
We weren't afraid of the Bears. So
that's why
the way I look at it. You're not wrong when you analyze getting everybody healthy for the playoffs. I get it. And here's the caveat. If they can't beat the San Francisco 49ers at home, they didn't belong in this thing anyway.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
All right. But when you're looking at the playoff scenario, it's like building blocks. You've got to negotiate a way to get to the end result. And so if you play for the number 2 seed, you're in more control of that than you would be if you did not. And that's where I think they were faulty because no other team rested their starters.
That's fine. And what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter. They felt like they could, if they have to play Chicago in Chicago, it wouldn't make a difference. The game's going to be the same whether it's in Chicago or it's in Philadelphia, right? And I think that they would have preferred to play San Francisco versus Green Bay. Green Bay has a significantly better defense than the 49ers. I think that this is a better matchup for the Eagles.
You think this is an easier matchup for the Eagles than to play the Packers?
I do, because of what 49ers injury situation is. They have no linebackers, none, right? Yeah. They're then on the offensive side, Trent Williams is probably not going to play. It's not 100%, but he may not play. Ricky Pearsall may not play. You start taking all these players out of the lineup. What are the 49ers? Right?
Listen, you're going right down my line as far as predicting this game. I don't think the Eagles are going to be in trouble at all in this game. I'm blowing the lead here.
Yeah.
But I still believe that going to Chicago, if they have to go to Chicago, it's a road game. The Eagles are 0-2 on the road in the playoffs under Sirianni, even though both of them were in Tampa. It's a harder matchup to play in Chicago, whether you don't think much of the Bears or not.
Here's a prediction I'm going to make, Mike. And when we get to our picks later in the game, I'm giving
the Packers upset the Bears.
They're going to beat the Bears.
Yeah.
The Packers are going to beat the Bears.
So I get it. But then you get to host the Rams at home, who a lot of people think are the best team in the NFC.
Which would have been the case even if you were the number 2 seed in the pack. And you would have beaten the Packers, right? But when the Bears could have lost to the 49ers, and then you get the 49ers. I don't think much of the Bears. I really don't.
I don't at this point either, but it's still more difficult to go to another team's building to play a playoff game than it is to stay at home, and I think the numbers prove that.
There's
All right,
like I said,
let's get into some facts and figures here. I'm gonna get your reaction by like sound or oh or yikes or stuff like
just an
however you
utterance.
react. All right.
All right, I'll give you an
We've already
utterance.
talked about they're going to be without 3 of their linebackers, including Fred Warner, Tatum Bethune, season-ending groin injury. 2 other linebackers are all banged up, Winters and Gifford. So there's that. Okay. That plays right into you. They're second to last in quarterback pressures and 25th versus the run. Guess who leads their team in sacks?
Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff is correct. All right, let's move on. Against Seattle, San Francisco was held to 173 yards and only 9 first downs.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
They're without Trent Williams and without Ricky Pearsall, their offense is basic.
Their linebacking core is going to be suspect in coverage, which means Dallas Goedert should have a big day.
Yes, very much so. I mean, look, you know who their top linebacker is, Mike? Eric Kendricks. He's been in the league for like a dozen years. He's old. And they picked him up in week 11.
Somehow this coaching staff at San Francisco and Robert Saleh has gotten their defense to play. All right, San Francisco porous against the run. They gave up 180. They're coming off a game where they gave up 180 yards rushing to Seattle.
Yeah. So Saquon should have a huge day, right?
Should have a huge day. Here's what this leads right into it. Over the last 2 weeks, San Francisco is giving up explosive plays. The Bears had 7 plays of at least 20 yards. The Seahawks had 4 of at least 20 yards.
This is if you know when we were looking for a get right game for the Eagles offense, and I said I said a few weeks ago, you can't say that the Raiders or the Commanders are a team that you get a get right game against. You need to have a get right game against a decent team. And they did not have that against the Bills. And that's why I was a little concerned. But of all the teams you could have played in the NFC, this is the one where you go, okay, this is the opportunity for a get-right game. Because they're at least decent offensively, so the 49ers should hang in the game with you. So your offense has to be good enough, and you kind of get that momentum going again. This is that game.
Let me keep going. The Niners can't score versus a quality defense. 4 of their 5 losses came against teams ranking 7th or higher in defensive DVOA. The Eagles are 6th in DVOA.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them. I mean, when you look at who are the 49ers' best offensive players, it's Christian McCaffrey and it's George Kittle. I mean, Pearsall, if he's probably not playing, he may not play. So where is the Eagles' best strength? It's the front 7,
right,
man.
I'm going to keep going. I got a million of these now. The Niners are also 27th in defensive DVOA while allowing the 9th highest EPA per play. The Niners also have played the 8th easiest schedule. Philadelphia has played the 11th hardest schedule.
Yeah, I don't put a lot of stock in that. I mean, you play who you play, right? I think there's other teams that have played easy schedules. I mean, you don't look. I look at New England, right? They've had the easiest schedule in the last 10 years in the NFL, and they won 14 games, right?
Listen, I'm giving you all these stats. Every stat is in favor of the Eagles. This is why I'm doing that. The Eagles have a 35% pressure rate on quarterbacks for the season. Purdy was pressured 34% last week by Seattle and struggled.
Yeah, he's not good under pressure. So if you get after the quarterback. And if Trent Williams isn't playing, it'll be easier to get after the quarterback. You'll make his life miserable.
All right. Has Christian McCaffrey run out of gas? 413 touches during the regular season and was not productive last week. The Eagles have Nakobe Dean back, and so they got that middle covered where they like to throw to McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'm not as convinced that McCaffrey is out of gas. I think he just I think it was just one bad game, right?
Okay.
I think McCaffrey
a lot of touches, 413 touches.
I think McCaffrey will be fine. I'm not worried too much. I think that he's your most dangerous player still for the 49ers.
All right, the big subplot, Vic Fangio versus Kyle Shanahan. Vic Fangio, 3-1 against Kyle Shanahan's offenses.
And even better than that, Mike, when Kyle Shanahan has gone up against Vic Fangio, the most points he scored in a game is 15.
Wow.
Now, it's been a while. It's been
all right. 49ers, except for last week, were semi-hot. They've won 6 of the last 7 games. I mean, they had won 6 in a row before they got to Seattle.
Yeah, well, they looked great against the Bears. Like 2 weeks ago in that game against Chicago when they scored 40 points, that offense was humming.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Eagles offense, 22.3 points per game. That's only 19th in the league. Third down offense is 24th in the league, and they lead the league in 3 and outs at 28.1%. So there's that anti-Eagle stat.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say about that, Mike. And I agree with you. That is an anti-Eagle stat, and I'm not a fan of the Eagles offense. I don't think it's very good. But with the Eagles defense being what it is, let me throw this at you. If they score 21 points a game in the playoffs, can they get to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
We're not asking for a lot, right?
I believe that they'll give up 17 a game.
We're not asking for a lot, right?
No,
So,
we're not asking for a lot.
That's why I think it lines up. This is the best path.
Okay. All right. Let me give you some more, though. This might temper it. San Francisco's offense, 25.7 points per game. That's 10th in the league. The third down offense is first in the league.
Real 50% they convert at, which is unbelievable.
But last week, 2 for 9 on third down against a very good defense.
Yeah. I mean, you could either look at that. You could look at that in one of two ways. You could either look at it and go, okay, they face a good defense, they can't convert on third down, or you can look at it and go, hey, that's just one blip on a radar. Look at the bigger sample size. It's tough.
Can Purdy have success throwing the ball if Ricky Pearsall's not there? I don't know. Eagles pass defense, 75.4. They hold wide receivers who are rated. That's second in the league. They've only allowed 14 TDs. That's first in the league. And the lowest completion percentage allowed also first in the league. So the Eagles defense against Jawan Jennings and DeMarcus Robinson, if Ricky Pearsall doesn't play, I would give the advantage to the Eagles there.
I would too. Jawan Jennings is a good receiver, but if you don't have Pearsall as an option to kind of, the Eagles can just put Quinyon Mitchell on him all game and he won't do anything. So
Eagles hold tight ends, George Kittle, to a 72 rating. That's number 1 versus tight ends in the league.
Yeah, but he's one of the best tight ends in the league. I think he's going to get a little bit of yardage.
Okay, those linebackers can cover. All right, Christian McCaffrey, 1,200 yards with less than 4.0 per carry. The Eagles versus running backs are 20th in the league at 4.2 yards per carry. So something may have to give there. The Eagles didn't defend running backs in the past that well either, which is where McCaffrey is really valuable. 102 rating, the Eagles defending running backs, catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing is going to be, look, I think Kyle Shanahan has probably earned Coach of the Year in the NFL this year. They had so many injuries for that 49ers team. Obviously, we already talked about Fred Warner being out. They lost Nick Bosa. They played half the season with Mac Jones as their quarterback and not Brock Purdy. They had Pearsall's been in and out of the lineup. Trent Williams not lineup, and yet they went 12-5, right? So I think that you got to give the coach some credit. And he's a smart offensive coordinator. He's going to find ways to get Christian McCaffrey some yardage. So I do about it. Yeah, I do think the 49ers can score a little bit.
102 catches for McCaffrey this year. Yeah, 924 yards and 7 touchdowns. A lot of them on checkdowns. So Purdy looking downfield always has him available.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think that they will find ways to get him some yards. All
right, here is the key. 49ers D not great against running backs. 4.5 yards per carry. That's 22nd in the league. Saquon could feast in this game.
And he should. If the Eagles aren't run heavy in this game, if they're forcing Jalen Hurts to throw the ball 30 times, then they're going to get beat. That's it. They're going to get beat if they try to be a passing offense against the 49ers.
San Francisco D has the fewest sacks in the NFL. So Jalen Hurts should not be pressured that much. And finally, San Francisco, pretty good on the road, though, Ant. 7-2 on the road.
Yeah, they're a good team, Mike. They're a good team, and they're going to keep it. I think they're going to keep it relatively close. I still think that the Eagles are going to be the better team in the end. I think this is the best path for them.
Let's get to a topical question here, because I've been hearing this all week about since John Harbaugh lost his job in Baltimore.
Yeah,
there are a lot of Eagle fans that go, "Oh, we got to grab him. We got to grab him. He's better than Nick Sirianni." Right now, would you take John Harbaugh over Nick Sirianni in spite of what Sirianni has done?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
You've got to be kidding me, dude.
No, I would.
How many people would do that? I'd love to hear the comments of the people that are following along with us.
Yeah, I would.
How many people would take Harbaugh right now over to Nick Sirianni?
Here's the thing, Mike. I think that Sirianni's success has been buoyed by the fact that he's had great coordinators in the years that he has had his best seasons. And the years that he hasn't had great coordinators, he's not been nearly as successful. He's a the CEO coach thing that everybody talks about. Like, I don't know. I don't like a coach that's a CEO coach. I like a coach that's making game day decisions for their team.
I'm apoplectic. I really am. I cannot believe it after what this guy has done. And believe me, I'm not that big of a fan of the guy personally, but what he's done as the Eagles coach, and come on, you can't say you would take Harbaugh over him right now.
I would. I would.
In fact, you would go even further because a lot of coaches lost their job this week. You would take several other coaches other than Harbaugh over Sirianni right now. Are you out of your mind?
No, because I like the fact that other coaches coach the game like they are intimately involved with decision making. They're calling plays, right? Whether it's offense or defense, they're intimately involved. I don't think Sirianni's that at all. I think he's game planning, like whatever, and then he's just the guy on a headset on the sideline and celebrating during
success.
games.
You're ignoring the success the team has had with him in that capacity.
Okay, look, if he wins another Super Bowl, I may change my mind, but he's got to win another one. He just does.
It's not enough for you that he's won one and he's been to another one.
No.
And he's been in the playoffs every year since he's been at the helm.
No, 7 teams make the playoffs. Howie Roseman's a great GM, puts a lot of great players around.
All of a sudden, I'm like Nick Sirianni's cheerleading faction.
Well, let me ask you this: like, why are the Phillies make the playoffs every year? Yet, but everybody wants to fire the manager because they.
I didn't want to fire the manager. I know when a manager is effective. I know when a coach is effective. Whatever this guy does, and whatever he does, he's been effective doing it. I can't argue with that.
I think that the players win in spite of him. I look at the meltdown of 23, Mike, and I sit there and go, how can any
that
coach
shook me as well? That shook me.
Allow that to happen?
Yeah, that shook.
And there always seems
you got to get over that. They've won a Super Bowl since then.
But there was some drama this year too. Like, how do you not have some cohesiveness if you're the coach? Yeah, look, there's always going to be players who don't maybe get along. I mean, it's like any business, right? I mean, that happens. But you got to at least be able to not let that become something that becomes public knowledge and people are talking about it. And, and you sit there and you look at look at Patullo. Are you a fan of Kevin Patullo?
No.
Why is Kevin Patullo in the job that he's in?
Because of Sirianni.
All right, because they're buddies.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like, well, that's not you don't run a business that way, right?
Just because you're buddies, that doesn't mean you don't believe in the guy's ability.
Well, but you got to know that the guy, like, you have a team that is a Super Bowl caliber team. You need to have someone in place to ensure that you have an opportunity to play for that Super Bowl. Kevin Patullo is clearly not that guy and was not the right choice from the beginning because he's so inexperienced. Your window is open right now. You need an experienced offensive guy.
Let's go to our chat board. First of all, Ford 9065 is doing this every week. Mike, you don't like boisterous Italians? Sirianni and you probably have a lot in common. I can tell you that if I was a head football coach, I wouldn't be doing the shenanigans that he does. I wouldn't be pumping my fist at the crowd and making those kind of comments. He did it coming off the field the last game as well. I wouldn't do that. I'd be more of a stoic as a head football coach because I think that's what you have to be. But whatever he does doesn't seem to bother the continuity of this team, and I'm good with that.
Yeah. Here's an interesting comment. This is from my podcast partner on Snow the Goalie, Russ Joy, from the Russ Joy Show. He says Sirianni should be fired if and only if the team flames out and he won't move on from Patullo.
Okay, so in other words, if they lose this game, Sirianni should be fired. Is that what Russ is saying?
No, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question for Russ. Is it just this game? What if they beat San Francisco but lose to the Rams?
No.
Let's say the Packers beat Chicago and they play the Rams.
No, if they lose to the Rams, by the way, I think they've projected the lines for that particular matchup. the Eagles would be a 2-point favorite in Chicago. They'd be -1 at home against the Rams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm saying.
Rams, to me, are a better team than the Eagles.
Yeah.
So that would not shock me. If they lost to San Francisco, I would, I wouldn't be firing Sirianni. He's earned the right not to be fired. But there's no way that Kevin Patullo would come back as offensive coordinator, because if they lose the game, it's probably because they haven't scored enough points.
Yeah, he says only if they lose to the Niners, and he won't move on from Patullo.
Yeah, you move on from Patullo, but you don't move on from Sirianni, even if they lose to the Niners.
Yeah, they won't. The Eagles won't. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the guy. I'm just not. Right now, he could win me over. He can win me over if he goes out and wins another Super Bowl. Then I sit there and go, okay.
Here's Steve Savino. Anthony, I don't know. Steve Savino says, Anthony, I don't know. Sirianni, say what we say about the guy, but he's a good coach. He's a winning coach, and I know Harbaugh is too. But I look at it as, what have you done for me lately? Harbaugh hasn't won anything lately. 12 years since he won.
Yeah, I agree.
12 long years. It's like the Andy Reid drone when Andy was at the end of here.
You're right. But I argue this all the time in baseball, and so I got to make the same argument in football. It's not you need everything to break your way to win a Super Bowl, to win a championship. And really in any sport. You could have, how many times do the best teams not win? And that's because something did not break their way, right?
I hear you.
And so Baltimore, for what it's worth, has been a really good team until this year under John Harbaugh. A really good team. He has won Super Bowl, a while ago, but even in the years leading up to this year, they were a really good team who should have won, and came up short in the playoffs for whatever reason.
Short, and they took a decent team into this year, and he went 1-5 in the first 6.
Yeah, I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan. I think he's been one of the more overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. I know he's won 2 MVPs. It's hard to say that a 2-time MVP is overrated. But he's not.
There's a couple more chat. I can't believe what I'm reading in chat. Sirianni isn't a great coach. He's not. He's a cheerleader mostly. What has he fixed or KP fixed in the offense week to week? Oh, we're going to look at the tape. They say nothing changes.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
All right. But I do believe the Eagles are in store for an offensive awakening against San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I do believe that they'll score in the 20s.
I do too.
20. I think they got like 28, 27, 28 points. I think they're going to score in this game.
I think you're right.
You're right? You're okay with that?
I'm good with that.
So we got all the facts and figures out there. We got all the debates about Sirianni. Let's take our first commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll review the rest of the NFL playoffs. This is the On Pattison podcast. Mike Missanelli, Anthony SanFilippo. Back after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's.
The Peruzzi Automotive Group on Business Route 1 in Fairless Hills is looking for auto techs, all skill levels. Here's a chance to work for a locally owned family business that offers many benefits. For more information, call the service director, John Damarotis, at 215-943-6200. That's 215-943-6200, or visit any Peruzzi service department.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them, like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
Are you living with relentless pain? St. Mary has a new way to help. Knee and hip replacements with a smarter process for faster recovery, earning prestigious awards for quality and value. A rapid recovery program has you walking just hours after surgery, and breakthrough advances such as custom-fit joints position you for a longer pain-free life. 215-710-5888. St. Mary Orthopedics. It's your health. Expect more.
Back on the Pattison podcast, I am Mike Missanelli with Anthony SanFilippo. Of course, you can hear the podcast on all podcast networks, by the way. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get it, Pandora. You a Spotify or a Pandora man?
I'm Apple.
You're an Apple Music man?
Yeah, Apple Music, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I am as well. I love downloading older albums because I like the. Remember the day back in the day you used to hear an album from top to bottom. You know, even a CD from top to bottom instead of random songs that are picked out. I like to listen to a whole album as a production.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, like I don't like Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you though,
like that.
The one thing that drives
Steely Dan, Pretzel Logic. So you go way back for these classic albums that you haven't heard in forever, and you download the album.
The one thing that drives me nuts, Mike, with Apple Music, though, I will tell you, I have a lot of music on my phone, but sometimes it's like if you download a song and then you first, and then you try to download the album second, it splits the album into two separate things. So then you go to look for the album, and the one song is not on the album. So I'm like,
I don't download songs. I just download albums.
Yeah,
I'm used to doing that. Growing up, albums were big for me.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, let's go over the rest of the NFL playoffs here, and we'll do this. Is our version of our pick segment.
Yeah,
we're gonna look at these games and see who's going to play who in the second round. So let's start with Saturday's games, where you got
Mike.
Rams
Before you put it out there, I just want to throw this up there because this is going to help us with going into these picks.
Okay.
Jay Sporman says for the picks, home dogs are 6-2 against the spread in the playoffs since 2010, and there are 4 home dogs this weekend. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's the first one: Rams at the Panthers.
Yeah.
Home dog Panthers are 10.5-point dogs. You like that based on that statistic?
No.
I think that follows his statistic perfectly.
Yeah, it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest mismatch of the.
It's a mismatch, but 10.5 is 10.5 in the playoffs. I think the Panthers will play close to that number.
I think that's. I think the Rams win by 2 touchdowns.
You think Rams win by 2 touchdowns? All right, let's go with the 8:00 game on Saturday. Packers at the Bears, another home dog. The Bears are not favored in this game. The Packers minus 1.5. Who do you like?
The Packers to win outright. Yeah.
So take the Packers outright.
Yeah. Yeah. Packers are going to win that game. They've
been
both
favorites, so it wouldn't be outright.
Well, that's true. That's right. Yeah, they are 1-point favorite. Those the 2 times that they put. First of all, this is the 3rd time they've played in a little over a month. I think it's in 5 weeks. Yeah. 3rd time that they've played. Both games were really tight, really close. I just think that the Packers were the better team in both games. The Bears pulled out the one with that crazy ending, if you remember a couple of weeks ago with the onside kick and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the Packers are going to pull this one out and they'll go to Seattle.
We won the Sunday's games. 3 games on Sunday. We go to the AFC.
Who are you picking that game?
I am taking the Packers as well.
You are? Okay. There you go.
Yeah, the Bears' last 2 games got me off of them a little bit. Although I don't think the Packers are any bargain, so I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears win that game. But I'll go with the slight favorite on the road there. That tells me a little something. Sunday game: Bills minus 1.5 at the home team Jaguars. What do you think? Jaguars getting no respect here at all, even though they've had a great season.
They've had a really good season, and they've impressed me a lot. And the Bills did not impress me, Mike. I think this is one where the home dog wins. I'm going to go with the Jags in this one.
Now, there are a lot of people that say the Bills are that sleeper team to win the Super Bowl or to get to the Super Bowl.
I know, and I think that they could be if they get past this game. This is the toughest matchup for the Bills in my mind.
So you respect the Jaguars a little bit.
I do.
Okay.
I think that they're gonna. I like Liam Cohen as a coach. I think their offense is very innovative. He's got them playing at a very high level.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah,
the Bills have been so inconsistent this year that even in a favored role, I think the Jaguars can win that game.
Yeah, I do. I like the Jags.
All right, 49ers, Eagles, minus 4.5. Both of us think the Eagles win this game. I'm not even worried a little bit. I got to be honest with you. I'm not worried a little bit. The 49ers are so banged up. There's no way that they can hang and score points against this defense.
So here's the thing: if Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall are able to play and able to play, like legitimately play, and not be like just out there as bodies, I think that the 49ers can keep it close. But I don't think that still think the Eagles win, regardless whether they play or not.
Yeah.
If they play, I think it could be something like 27-23. If they don't play, I think the Eagles win by 10 or 12 points.
And then we get to the Chargers at the Patriots. The home team is favored, but only by 3.5, as the Chargers, the warm weather Chargers, go to the frigid terrain of Foxborough.
So this is an interesting one for me, Mike. The Patriots, I think, are a better team than people give them credit for. I mean, obviously they had a great record, but everybody says that they played the easiest schedule in 10 years, which they did. But I think they're a better team than people recognize. And I think that they're going to win. And the Chargers are good. Don't get me wrong. They're good. But with their offensive line struggles, and I really like Vrabel as a coach, I'm gonna take the Patriots in this one to win the game and cover.
Take the Patriots to cover that 3.5.
Yeah. I think it's a one-score game, but I think it's like a 6-point game.
I'll go there as well. I think the Patriots at home. Another team that's been kind of disrespected, but I'll take the Patriots in this game. And then finally, Monday night, the Texans -3 at the Steelers seems like a mismatch to me. And I'm looking at that line. I go, that's a little fishy here. This might be like a 1-point game with the Texans, but I think the Texans will prevail.
I do too, and I think it's a low spread because it's only because it's in Pittsburgh. And look, Aaron Rodgers was impressive against Baltimore in the last game of the season in that little fourth quarter shootout. But man, I don't know how he does that against that Houston defense. That Houston defense is so good. It might be it's in my mind, it's the best defense in football.
Yeah.
I think that the Texans cover that 3
Home
points.
dogs are amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole card with home dogs. All right, let's move on to the college football playoffs, which is the game tonight, Miami and Ole Miss, and then Friday, Indiana versus Oregon. Miami -3.5 against Ole Miss. Now, the big thing here is Miami was kind of the last team in the tournament. They're the Cinderella, but they're playing really well. And Ole Miss is just battered by that coaching back and forth with the assistants going to LSU and then coming back and all that stuff. I don't know if that has galvanized Ole Miss or not, but I already bet Miami to win this game outright.
Yeah, I think they will too. The interesting thing, I don't know if you have it in front of you. What's the over/under in that game?
I don't have the over/under.
I would take the under. I would take Miami's defense.
Both defense is pretty good.
Yeah, Miami's defense is off the charts, and Ole Miss's defense is good too. I would take
I can't bet against Miami with that kind of defense.
Yeah, I'm going to take Miami in that game as well.
All right, Indiana, surprisingly low line for me. They've proven that they're the best team in the tournament right now. -3.5 versus Oregon on Friday night. How do you feel about that?
It's a rematch, right? And it was a close game the first time around. That's kind of what everybody started paying attention to Indiana when they beat Oregon the first time. And I think they're a fantastic story. Kyle Schwarber is going to be the captain. He's going to be out on the field with them for that game.
Oh, is that right?
For the coin toss, as an Indiana alum. I'm going to go Oregon. I think this is where.
Oh,
yeah, I am.
Well, let me go head to head with you for a slice of pizza.
I'm rooting for Indiana.
I will take Indiana.
I want to see Indiana win. I just think
a lot of disrespect from you. I think Indiana's the better overall team.
Yeah.
I've seen Oregon a lot this year. They're pretty good.
Something about playing them a second time. I don't know.
I think Indiana. So you like that second time revenge situation for Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I rarely do this early in the podcast, but it's been a really hot week for the Flyers. And of course, you covered the Flyers for on Pattison, and they're home against the Maple Leafs tonight. But a couple nights ago, a big rivalry game. This has turned into a rivalry with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks against the Flyers, and just describe the electricity that was in the building that night.
It was unbelievable, Mike. It was so. This is no different than it was a year ago when Cutter Gauthier came back for the first time, and the fans let him have it with the "F you Cutter" chants. And they did it again this year. And it was just a great atmosphere. It was very reminiscent of, 15 years ago when the team was going to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's what that building was like. And the team is playing some really good hockey, inspired hockey right now. This is the first time that they have more than 50 points at the halfway point of the season since 2011, 2012.
Wow.
That's how long it's been since they've been this decent. And so
Well,
you know,
Tockett's doing a pretty good job then.
he is. Trevor Zegras, man, that kid has incredible energy. He's got some chutzpah, right? He goes out there, he scores 2 goals against his former team. He does the hang up the phone celebration.
Explain what that meant to people.
So when he had a kind of a falling out with management of the Ducks when he was in Anaheim, and so when they traded him to the Flyers, he said the phone call to let him know that he got traded lasted all of 10 seconds. Like there was no like, thank you for your time. Good luck somewhere else. It was just like, hey, we traded you. Okay, great. Thanks. See you later. So he did the hang up the phone celebration. It's a shot back at the Ducks.
Yeah, both goals from crazy angles too, by the way.
Yeah.
And a lot of fisticuffs in this game. Ratko Gudas mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Former Flyer.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the hits that a couple of Flyers received that are all banged up now because of them. A couple of blindside hits to Brad Brink and to Jamie Drysdale. Talk to me about what the league is doing about that.
No, they're not, and that's the problem. Like the Brink one,
elbow came up.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, yeah. That one should have been, I thought, reviewed. I thought the other one that should have been reviewed by the league that wasn't. It was a penalty, but it wasn't injuring a player. Was the elbow to Denver Barkey, to the face of Denver Barkey. The one with Drysdale, even though he was the most sore and they're both in the concussion protocol, both him and Brink are in the concussion protocol. I thought that one might have been a little bit more accidental, and I understand why the league didn't do anything there. But the two where you're getting elbows up to the head, like that's got to be adjudicated, and it's not. So it only sets up for when these two teams play again in March. Like it's going to be ugly in Anaheim. It just is.
So how did this get to be the rivalry? Just because of the Cutter Gauthier thing,
all
because they made deals back and forth.
Cutter Gauthier basically saying he never wants to play for the Philadelphia Flyers, and you could see it in the game. Like there was a lot of chirping with the kid, and like the guys would hit him after the whistle. A lot of in his face kind of stuff. Like you don't want to play here. This is what it's going to be like every time you play us. Right. And so like it's good. It's good. It's good that they got a little bit of juice.
Classic old time hockey, isn't it? Classic.
Yeah, and the fans loved it. That place was rocking, man.
You know, it really did. All right. So look into your crystal ball. Tell me if the Flyers can keep this up.
Well, I'll tell you that they think they can keep this up. When you sign Christian Dvorak, who's been a nice player for them this year, right? But he's at best a 50-point player, probably usually in the 35 to 45-point range. Usually further down your lineup, he's playing top line because they don't have a top line center. When you sign him for 5 years and $25 million, you're basically telling that locker room, we believe you're a playoff team. Now just go out there and do it. And so as long as they can avoid injuries, especially to the goalie, Dan Vladar, if you can avoid injuries, this is a team that should be in the postseason this year. And fans will get to witness in person, because the last time they were in the playoffs was during the COVID bubble. It'll be the first time fans get to witness a playoff game since 2018.
Wow. Well, listen, explain to me why Flyer Twitter was going crazy over that contract for Dvorak.
Because they don't understand the rationale behind it. So
give me the rationale.
So think of it this way, Mike. So they signed him for 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to give him the 5th year. They probably didn't want to give him the 4th year either. But the way that they structured the contract, it's really only a 3-year deal. Those last 2 years, he's making less money. It pulled the cap hit down from closer to $6 million down to closer to $5 million. It's 5.15 is the cap hit. And they got, even though he has trade protection in the 4th year, it's only to 5 teams. So if you want to trade that guy, they can. If you have a center who comes along and wants to, and is a better center than him, he can play on the wing. You can move him out. So it's really not a 5-year deal. It's really only a 3-year deal. And by the time you get to the end of this contract, let's imagine he's still here in years 4 and 5. It's the equivalent of a $1.7 million contract with the current cap, because the cap's going up over
People
the next
hear Dvorak $25 million, they go crazy.
Yeah, it's sticker shock is what it is, but it's really not. It's not as bad as they think it is.
All right, let's take another quick break here. We have Phillies to talk about. What is the story with J.T. Realmuto? They're playing a game of chicken with each other, and I don't know who's going to lose on this battle. We'll talk about that. We'll also got the Sixers. All of a sudden, I'm believing in the Sixers. I never would have thought it, but I'm starting to believe in them. That they lost to Denver, notwithstanding. But we'll talk about the Flyers and the Sixers and the Phillies coming up after this break on the on Pattison podcast with Mike Missanelli and Anthony SanFilippo. Back after this.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
All right, it's the On Pattison podcast. I'm Mike Missanelli. He's Anthony SanFilippo. Get into the Sixers a little bit here. Sixers playing well. They gave it up versus the Nuggets. I didn't understand that game with the Nuggets with no starters, and they win in Philly. But last night they whacked the Washington Wizards, who just got Trae Young, by the way, in a trade today. Trae Young is going to the Wizards. And he wanted to go there. I'm going, why would you want to go there?
Yeah, it was a weird trade.
I mean, they got a bunch of 20-year-old kids playing over there. It's going to take them years to be a viable NBA team. But look at the scoring, the box score last night versus the Wizards. Embiid 28, PG with 23, Maxey 22, Grimes 16, Edgecombe 13, Drummond and Barlow each had 11. That's 7 dudes in double figures there, Anthony. Let's put a hole in the Sixers here all of a sudden.
The thing that's most impressive to me, Mike, is Embiid has played 5 straight games.
Yeah.
I think last night, I believe I'm correct in this. I believe it was the first time all season that they've had everybody in the lineup, like everybody healthy in the lineup. So I guess when you get Kelly
Oubre came back.
Yeah, Oubre came back. I only had 2 points last night, but he definitely came back. I don't know, when you get like this consistent lineup and they're out there and you're getting a consistent rotation and they're starting to play together and you start to say, okay, all right, maybe this can work. The East isn't
I
that
got to be
good.
honest with you. I think that, I used to think that they were a play-in team only, but I think they're in the middle right there. They're going to hover at the 4 or 5 spot for most of the year. They've got a lot of players. They've got a lot of depth, and it's unusual because they never really had that kind of depth before. But these guys that come into the game are productive players.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching a little bit of the game last night, and I was like, you know what? Like this team's actually somewhat fun to watch. They were miserable to watch last year.
And they were miserable early this season. We really weren't into it as well either.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, I can get behind this a little bit. I look at that Eastern Conference, and I don't see anything that just stands out at me and goes, oh yeah, that's that. They can't.
I agree. I mean, Boston's making a run without Tatum, but they're let's face it, the Detroit Pistons are the class of the league. even the Cavaliers are struggling, and I thought that they were going to be a contender. But
And
you got the Sixers have beaten the Knicks a couple times already.
Yeah, I was going to say they went up to New York and beat the Knicks too. Like, if they again, health is going to be a thing. Mike, this is interesting. I know they go on a 3-game road trip here, but they come home next Wednesday, starting the 14th. They have 10 games between the 14th and the 31st, and 9 of them are at home.
Days,
and 9 of them are at home.
Yeah. Well, so what's the question? How many of those games will Embiid play?
I can't imagine that he plays more than 7, right? Like,
I'll take 7. I thought you were going to say something like 5.
Well, I don't know if so. Look, he's played 5 in a row, right? And I'm sure there's a couple back-to-backs in there. He's not going to play in the second game of the back-to-back or the first game, depending on who the opponent is. But yeah, I think, can he get to 7? If the over-under is 6, what do you think?
I'll go under.
Will you? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go under. That's a fun. It's a fishy number there. If you were going to give me 6.5, I'd go 6. I'd still go under, but I'd be safe with the 6.
Yeah. So 6 might be a push, huh?
Yeah, 6 might be a push.
All right.
But listen, I'm the winter season all of a sudden has turned interesting. You could tune out mostly with the Flyers and the Sixers, and now both of them are playoff viable.
Yeah. Right. Well, so and look, Jay Sportman saying our Rook is the real deal. VJ and Maxey are going to be lethal. Can Embiid stay healthy and also get back to being a defender?
See, here's the thing I'm confused about Embiid. Because if you have that bad of a knee, how can you play 5 games in a row? Like what's the situation with his knee?
Yeah.
If you're able to play 5 games in a row, do we actually have a problem or not with the knee?
I don't understand how basketball, NBA teams manage their players. I just don't. I don't get it. I'm not an understanding of the load management. I mean, I understand from a 1,000-foot view, but I don't understand it with each individual player. I don't know. So is it Embiid making the call? Is it the doctors making the call? I don't. Trainers, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, listen, the player himself has to feel good enough to play, and all of a sudden he's good enough to play 5 games in a row. It's weird to me because they were so tenderized early on with this guy, playing him, not playing him, sitting him here, sitting him there, and now 5 games in a row. So what has his knee improved?
Maybe, but we can see that's the thing, Mike. If I was to sit here and speculate and say, yeah, sure, he's played 5 in a row, yeah, his knee's good, and then he only plays 5 of the next 10 games because the schedule's tough, then then in a couple of weeks when you ask me the same question, I go, oh yeah, well, I guess it's not where it needs to be.
I still don't know what's wrong with the knee. It's been maddening not to be explained what exactly is wrong with the knee. Does he have bone on bone? Does he have a cartilage problem? Does he have a meniscus problem? Like, what exactly is the problem with the knee?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be meniscus, right?
I don't know what it is. It's like hockey now. It's a lower body injury.
By the way, speaking of, when Drysdale went out of the game with that hit the other night,
upper body injury.
No. This was how it came across. The text came through. The Flyers said Jamie Drysdale will not return to this game due to injury. just injury.
They didn't even put the upper body in there.
They didn't even put upper
body injury, wasn't it?
It was just injury. That's the new low that the NHL has gotten to.
All right, Ant. It's time for our where we go all over the place.
Yeah,
and a little segment we like to call quick hitters.
Oh, you forgot the Phillies.
Oh, that's right. We got to go into the Phillies. My God, the J.T. Realmuto saga. Now you cover this. You were at the winter meetings.
Yep.
First of all, the news is that Don Mattingly is now the bench coach, and there was a lot of fanfare about that. I think that's a really good hire.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that being in Thompson's ear. The Phillies and the J.T. Realmuto saga. What is going on? Explain this to me. What is happening?
So to me, I think it's just a game of who's going to break first, right? I mean, I think both teams need each other. The Phillies need JT Realmuto because they don't have any catching in the organization. JT Realmuto needs the Phillies because I really don't think there's a big market for him that's out there. And the two sides are kind of, the Realmuto wants more from the Phillies. The Phillies want him to take less, and they're just kind of at a stalemate. So I thought the interesting thing this week was news that came out that the Phillies are interested in trading with Minnesota for their catcher, Ryan Jeffers, and also news that the Phillies are interested in Bo Bichette, right? Yeah. Both things I think are smoke screens for Realmuto.
Because in other words, if you don't sign with us,
yes,
all the money is going to be gone.
If you don't sign with us, the money we would have paid you is going to Bo Bichette, and we're going to make a trade for this guy, Ryan Jeffers, to be our everyday catcher.
And do you think he cares about that, JT? In his camp?
I don't know. Does he call their bluff? Right? Like that's why I say it's a game of chicken. I still think Realmuto signs here. Like if I had to put money on it, I would bet Realmuto plays for the Phillies next year. I think that the last time, if you remember, when he signed his last deal, 2020, I think it was, and he had that 5-year contract. It wasn't until January 26th that he signed. So we still got time as far as that's concerned.
All right, but how much are they offering him right now? As far as your understanding is, what kind of money are we talking about?
I think it's got to be around $15 million a year, and probably for 2 years, which is less money than
a 2-year contract at $15 million. He wants obviously another year.
Well, I'm sure he wants either longer term or more money. So the contract he's coming off of was $20 million a year.
Yep.
Right, for 5 years. So now you're asking him to take less and for a shorter term. So he wants something. He's going to want something in, either more money guaranteed or more term. So he's going to want something, right? So it's a matter of where the Phillies go. What do they do?
If the Phillies do make that trade for Jeffers, I would be okay with it, I guess, if they got Bichette. But where would Bichette play for the Phillies?
Well, you would probably have to trade Alec Boehm, and he would have to play third base.
Bichette as your third baseman,
which is he's not a good defensive player no matter where you play him.
He's not.
He's a hitter. He's a really good
play
hitter.
Left field.
No, maybe eventually. I don't know. He's never played the outfield.
All right. No. So Steve Savino says JT is not Johnny Bench. Well, the problem is in the context with the Phillies, he is Johnny Bench. Yeah, you got to have him. He is technically Johnny Bench for the Phillies.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I would be okay going Jeffers if you got something else that made the lineup significantly better.
Yeah,
whether that's Bo Bichette or whether that's Alex Bregman or whether that's anybody else that makes the lineup better. But if you tell me that it's Ryan Jeffers and then there's been a rumor that they're interested in Randall Grichuk, who in his career has been good against lefties, and maybe he's the platoon guy with Marsh in left field. That's not going to do it for me. That's not. No. So, you got to go get a Bichette type player if you're going away from Realmuto.
How much will Bichette cost you?
He's going to cost you $30 million a year.
$30 million a year.
Yeah. So in other words, you'd have to
put you in big tax hell.
So what you would do is you would have to say, the $15 million you were giving Realmuto, trading Boehm, who's worth about 10, right? And then if you get somebody to take the Castellanos contract and you only have to pay 5 of it, there's your $30 million.
Who's going to take that contract?
Well, no, but you're paying 15.
Oh, you're going to pay 15 of
right, but you only need to save 5 to get to the Bichette contract, right? So that's how you stay where you're at for 26 in the same financial situation that you were last year. Is you move the Castellanos contract for 15, only eating 15 million instead of the full 20. You trade Boehm for 10, and you don't sign Realmuto. That's keeps you there.
Okay. All right. Let's take a break. On the other side,
we're
going to talk about Anthony's Christmas decorations, among many other things here in our quick hitter segment. It is the On Pattison podcast with Mike Missanelli and Anthony SanFilippo, and we're back after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast, with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them, like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
Are you living with relentless pain? St. Mary has a new way to help. Knee and hip replacements with a smarter process for faster recovery, earning prestigious awards for quality and value. A rapid recovery program has you walking just hours after surgery, and breakthrough advances such as custom-fit joints position you for a longer pain-free life. 215-710-5888. St. Mary Orthopedics. It's your health. Expect more.
The Peruzzi Automotive Group on Business Route 1 in Fairless Hills is looking for auto techs, all skill levels. Here's a chance to work for a locally owned family business that offers many benefits. For more information, call the service director, John Damarotis, at 215-943-6200. That's 215-943-6200, or visit any Peruzzi service department.
It is the Pattison podcast. Mike Missanelli and Anthony SanFilippo. All right, this is a segment that could be a little fun for everybody. We bounce around and do different things. First of all, news of the day. Comcast is finally adding Wi-Fi to the parking lot at the arena. Tell me the significance of this, Anthony.
Well, the first time people are going to be able to experience it, Mike, is actually at the Eagles tailgate on Sunday.
Correct.
So think about it. For all those years, people have been tailgating outside before Eagles games mostly, but even before Phillies games, they use that lot. And then the Flyers and Sixers, maybe not as much because it's in the wintertime, but people do still sit outside, get there early, especially if it's an afternoon game or whatever. And that you have to use your 3G or 4G or whatever, like on your phone over the years. Mm-hmm. Now they finally added Wi-Fi points in the parking lot down there at Xfinity Mobile Arena, and you could be on Wi-Fi from the parking lot. So, I mean, everybody's on their phones anyway, whether you're watching the game that's going to be beforehand, you want to watch the game, the 1:00 game on Sunday while you're tailgating.
Basically, you can stream games now in the parking lot where you couldn't before.
Yeah. It's great, right?
That's pretty significant.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. What's the expense for Comcast to put that in, you think?
It's a good question, Mike. I have no idea, but I wonder if
you would think if it's the Comcast building, you would think they would have Wi-Fi all over the place, right?
Right. Well, the Wi-Fi in that building, it took a while, but for years, it wasn't that great. It really wasn't. And we used to question it. Like, how can we be sitting on press row above a sign that says "Welcome to Comcast Country" and the Wi-Fi suck? It didn't make any sense. It's better.
I know you've been dying to talk about Penn State football. All of a sudden, Penn State has the number 1 ranked class out of the portal. Matt Campbell, the new coach, poaching a lot of people from Iowa State, including their starting quarterback. How about that? Rocco Becht.
Yes, Delco connection. His dad, Anthony Becht.
Rocco Becht, his dad. Anthony Becht was a fine graduate of Monsignor Bonner High School, where he was a big star. And then we went to West Virginia and was a first-round draft pick, I believe.
Yeah, for the Jets, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
In the deep 20s, Anthony Becht was selected. Now he's coach of a USFL team or a UFL team, whatever that league is these days. But how about Penn State rebounding, Anthony?
How about that? How can you? The thing that is most interesting to me, Mike, how do you go from having the worst signing day of any team in Division I to now to having the best in the transfer portal?
It's Scuttle. That's what it is. Matt Campbell had a lot of scuttle to spread around in NIL.
Yeah. He did. He did a good job, apparently.
So the money they saved from Franklin taking that job at Virginia Tech, was pushed over to the NIL and said, Matt, here, you use this. This was Franklin's salary. This is what we're saving now that he got a job at Virginia Tech.
And
go at it. Have at it.
He went at it, and he got a bunch of guys from Iowa State. I think he got a nice transfer from UCLA as well. Was part of that list. I forget what the kid's name is, but yeah.
People
so maybe
flocking to Nittany Valley, Anthony.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, maybe they'll actually be pretty good next year.
They might have a squad next year after all.
Yeah.
All right. Ranger Suarez.
Yeah.
Oh, the whispers are hot and heavy that he may sign with the Mets. Now, Ranger is a guy who, he was a popular guy here. Everybody loved Ranger. He loved his demeanor, the whole bit. If he goes to the Mets, does that turn the tide?
Well, that's my interesting question, right? Like, if I had to put where Ranger slotted in being beloved on this current Phillies group, I think he's right behind Schwarber and Harper, right? He's probably the third one out of everybody on that team.
Yep.
If he signs with the Mets, do you suddenly hate him? Because it's the Mets. Because there is a real. It's like the Cowboys to the Eagles, the Metses to the Phillies, right? It's the same. It's the same kind of hatred for the Mets. Do you hate him, or do you think that he gets the
I think a guy like Ranger gets a pass.
I do too. I think
he'll get a pass. He didn't say anything. He never said anything. And what he said was in Spanish. You never know what he was saying anyway.
Right. I think so too. I think he's got the cred in town to get a pass.
All right. Let's get to this story here because I know you have audio for this.
Yeah.
And this is your old producer, the old producer in you coming out.
Yes.
We already had a faux pas at the 97.5 The Fanatic with Tim Saunders saying what he said into a live mic after he thought he was in a commercial and his mic was off. It was not off.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, a producer's fault. But some weird sounds was coming from the NBC Sports post-game show. And should we let you hear it first of all?
Yeah.
They throw it to Ashlyn Sullivan and Dave Zangaro after the game. Michael Barkant throws it to them. And in the background, you heard some weird sounds. Let's play it.
I don't think he's going to regret his decision. We know how important it is for these players to go in healthy into the playoffs, but that is now going to be the dominating question because you have the Lions handle business, and you could not handle business here in Philadelphia. The 2 seed was up for the taking, but I think this all boils down to, and no one should be surprised by this, the difference between starters and backups. Tanner McKee didn't look comfortable a lot in this game, and the biggest discrepancy to me, Dave, was the drop-off in the starting secondary and the backup secondary.
Yeah, it was a problem, Ashlyn, because, they had an opportunity in this game. And I think that's why Nick Sirianni is going to be second-guessed so much. I don't think he can second-guess himself. He made a decision that he knew could come back to bite him, and it did. But they still had an opportunity to win with the backups in this game. The secondary was awful. I mean, we're seeing now why Dory Jackson is the guy at CB2. Those guys were awful in this game. And then on offense, you guys are right. I mean, Tanner McKee just had a bad game. There were plenty of throws to be made. Even the fourth down at the end of the game, he's got to make those throws. And he obviously looked way better early in the game with Devontae Smith. You'd expect that. You'd like to see him carry that through a little bit and make some more plays, and he wasn't able to.
All right. Hopefully you heard that because it sounded like snoring, right?
Crazy, right, Mike?
It sounded like snoring. So whose fault is that from a guy that's been behind the scenes? Whose fault is that? We find out, well, at least it was explained by Ashlyn Sullivan to somebody that it was actually Reuben Frank trying to catch his breath getting back on the set after being downstairs. But it sounded like somebody was asleep.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Mike. So from what I understand, those guys watched the game from the studio. So I don't know where he could have gone when they threw it.
Yeah, he was down. He was down on the field most likely, and then zoomed back up.
Could have been, but I thought that I was told that he was actually already there.
Okay.
So I don't know. Well, maybe not. But what I also learned is that the mics are now controlled automatically through some kind of computerized program, digital program. So it's not like there's a producer anymore sitting there turning mics on and off.
Yeah.
It's just it's programmed. So those mics are hot the whole time. I don't know why you would have it be that way. What if somebody has to talk to somebody on set while that report's happening? I don't know why they would be live, but apparently that's the deal too. But It's crazy to me that we now have 2 of these within a span of what, 2 weeks in this town. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, Anthony, let's get to your Christmas decorations because we're trying to come up with a hard and fast rule with how long you keep your Christmas decorations up. A lot of people in my neighborhood, the lights are still up. The Christmas lights stay on for like throughout January. Maybe they're just too lazy to take them down, but maybe they do celebrate. So is there a hard and fast rule for the Christmas decorations?
So I was always under the belief, Mike, that you did it on what we call Little Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's January 6th. That's always the Feast of the Ascension, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very Catholic thing to say, but that was always when it was. Like that's the 12th day of Christmas. For anybody who knows the song 12 Days of Christmas, that's the 12th day of Christmas. So your decoration should come down by January 6th. Today's January 8th, and my Christmas decorations are still up. And my wife is like, we'll get to them. Yeah, whatever. And so like I feel a little bit weird. My neighbor, he took his lights down. He does a real big thing on his house. And so if you're driving up my street and, we're the second house that you see, his lights are gone. The first one that you see now is mine. And we have the big bay window and the trees in the bay window. And I'm like, are people thinking that we're lazy because they're not down yet? What are people thinking right now? I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah, I've got mine all gone.
Yeah, see, you're
They're
smart.
all gone. I got the tree out. The tree's gone. All the decorations, the garland outside on the railing, all that. But there's one thing that's hanging in here, and it's the Christmas cards that you get that you put on the refrigerator with the magnet.
Yeah.
How long did the Christmas cards stay there? Is it proper to throw them away in the garbage?
Yeah, I know. And I feel so I've had this discussion with on my hockey podcast about Christmas cards. I don't know when it started. I don't remember when it started, but now every Christmas card that I get is from somebody who sends a photo of their family. That's the Christmas. It's no longer just a Merry Christmas card that you get at CVS or Walgreens. It's like a made thing, and it's families, kids, dogs. Like I don't know. Do I need to see all that? Like I just want to. And I don't send Christmas cards back out, so I think I'm a bad person. But then there's the one person who does this to me. Like, tell me if you have anybody who does this. I get a Christmas card from someone, and inside is a piece of paper, and you open up the paper, and it folded out. It's actually multiple pieces of paper. And it explains what the family's been up to for the last year. Like, do I need all that information?
Yeah, you get a form letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a form letter. Yeah, I got a buddy of mine that does that. But my buddy does it because he's been all around the world and, worked overseas for most of his adult life. So he likes to keep up with, have people keep up with his life that's going on.
Yeah. Jay Sportman says his fiance saves the Christmas cards.
Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do because you throw them away and it's like disrespectful. Somebody sent you a nice Christmas card with a little note and you throw it away. I don't really know what you do with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I'm just starting to get antsy with the Christmas decorations.
All right, and let's close this thing up with and I'm throwing you a curveball here that you're not expecting.
Okay.
I want to come up with a list of the top 10 most important Eagles as we go into this game on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. So number one, to me is obvious. It's the quarterback. So I would go number one, Hurts. Do you agree with that?
No.
You don't?
I think the most important player for this week is Saquon Barkley.
Okay, you're going Saquon number one. I got Saquon going number two.
Yeah, I would go Hurts too, but I think the running game is the most important thing to beat the 49ers.
Okay, number three, I got Jordan Davis.
I got one a little bit higher than him. I'm okay with I got Jordan. I have Jordan Davis on the list. I would say Lane Johnson because he's going to come back and play.
It's pretty good.
But how healthy is he?
It's a pretty good one. I got Lane on the list, but down a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I can interchange Jordan Davis with Jalen Carter as well. So I'm going to put both of those in the same slot.
Yeah, they're 4-5 to me. I think that they're
number
right.
Four, I've got Quinyon Mitchell.
I think it depends on if Pearsall's playing or not. If he's not, if he's not, I think he could shut down Jawan Jennings, no question.
Okay.
Yeah. The linebackers are more important in my mind.
Okay, that's interesting. I got number 5. I got A.J. Brown, and you probably put him lower.
I would, because the passing game is not as important to me in this game.
All right, I had number 6 Lane, but only because I don't know if he's going to play or not. So I had him at the 6th spot.
Okay.
7, I got Bond.
Yeah, I put Bond and Nakobe Dean right next behind the defensive
All right, so
tackle.
Bond to Kobe Dean tandem.
Yeah.
All right, Cooper DeJean I have as 8.
I would probably, you know who I would put ahead of him? I would maybe put Dallas Goedert ahead of him because I think
Pretty good one.
If you're going to throw the ball, you're going to throw to your tight end against this team.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I've got number 9 and a surprise, Jalix Hunt.
Yeah, I think that's important. You got to get pressure on Brock Purdy. If you don't get pressure on Brock, and he's your best sack guy, if you don't get pressure on Brock Purdy, I'll tell you another one that I would put on this list is Jalen Phillips. And it's because the couple of teams have exploited his aggressiveness. And I think that Shanahan is smart enough to design some plays offensively that could attack that. If he can hold the edge a little bit better, I think that would do wonders for the Eagles.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Now, I got Goddard on the list, which leaves out Mailata, who I think is extremely important this week.
I know. We can only go 10, right?
Yeah, you can only go 10.
Because
Does
if I
Mailata
was
make the top 10?
Not for me, he doesn't. Not for me. And you know who else doesn't make the top 10, who I think is important in this game?
The kicker.
Jake Elliott, yes.
Yeah, the kicker. You got to throw in there, right? I refuse to put a kicker in the top 10 of anything.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I can't.
I have to put a kicker in the top 10 of kickers, to be honest with you. But that's just me.
Yeah, I know.
All right, anything else? Did we miss anything today?
I don't think we did. I think we had a good program today.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks everybody for chiming in. We have a lot of people still chiming in about this. He says, my fiance saves all these dopey Christmas cards.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah.
Number 1, Dante.
Smith. I think he means Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Number 1, Hurts. Number 2, Saquon. Number 3, Lane Johnson. Sporman says.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon, secret weapon. Come on, man. Don't mess with us. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening and viewing and participating in the show. We will check you out. First of all, check me out on the Eagles postgame show, which is Birds Brunch. That's coming up Monday morning following the Eagles Sunday game. And then next Thursday, Anthony and I will be back at it again with the On Pattison podcast. Everybody, thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk.